Hi guys, Deanna here from Hot for History, and the big question right now is where is Meghan Markle? People are freaking out. They're treating this like it's, a free Britney campaign or something because for several, it seems like, I don't know, it seems like years, but it was really just for a couple of months. We were inundated with Meghan and Harry, and now all we hear is about Harry. And so, Meghan was very vocal during the Netflix series release, or their docu-series, and many people actually are saying that they should have left it at that they came off really well in general, that their ratings were up, their favorability rating was up. And then when Harry's book came out and we saw more, it was like, ooh. So many people are basically saying, okay, I think that, that Harry and Meghan are, all over the place and everything. And so maybe Meghan is just backing down and backing up because she doesn't want to be associated with the book because she told him not to release it. And I don't think that's true. And then others are like, she doesn't want to be as public because they're just honoring their contract, but they really didn't want to do this. And so where is Meghan? Where is Meghan? Is she hiding out? Is she afraid because Harry mentioned something about his time in the war and, the Afghan soldiers and the Afghan citizens that he gunned down when he was a soldier. And so there's all of this speculation as to where Meghan is because it's been like radio silence, which is sort of not the norm for what we've been for what we've been experiencing lately. But what Hello Magazine said is that they just really think that all she's doing is living her life, that she's taking care of her kids, Archie and Lilibet, trying to get some peace after their whole entire press release. She didn't write this book. They have other things going on. They're going to release more books. Do you guys think that they should? Hey guys. Hi, Evelyn. Hi, Judith. Hi, guys. Do you think that they should be releasing more stuff? I mean, we have the coronation coming up, and that's in May, and then it just seems like it's been so much going on. And like I said, where is Meghan? People are freaking out. Now, here's my question. Is it that she's missing, or is it that the public has gotten so used to just sort of being inundated every single day with news about them, controversies about them, that things are starting to kind of die down because they don't have a new project released after this? And it's just really us. For example, I brought this Britney piece into it because, oh my gosh, the other night, and I bring it up because some people are suggesting to have a free Meghan, campaign, like just free her from all of this. But Britney Spears had a welfare visit from the police officers last night, and she said that it was very, very annoying to her to have that. And in fact, she appreciates her fans, but please, I'm doing well. I'm okay. And apparently they came around midnight, and she's like, look, guys, I'm doing fine. And she's saying that she's feeling gaslit and bullied now by the very people who were like, oh, we really care about you, Britney. We want everything to be all right. But the truth is that now the fans themselves are like, well, we have to take care of her because she's, she has psychological issues, which I can understand why she's saying gaslit, because those same people were saying that Britney was being falsely accused of having mental problems. And that's why she had that custodianship. Sorry. And so now the very people, this Free Britney movement is basically saying the opposite, like she has mental problems and so we better take care of her. So, that's the reason why I brought it up, because it's like the minute somebody's missing, like Britney Spears may just want to live her life. She just wants to live her life, and then her fans won't let her. And so my question is, now all this news about, well, where's Meghan? Where's Meghan? Maybe she just wants to live her life, and it's all, it's the public that's like freaking out over it. There must be something wrong with her and all of that. So that's why I brought it up. Now, I just did a piece on this. Hold on, bored, because these two are so boring. I'm just going to read some notes. Yeah, I think we're all ready to move on. Like even myself as a content creator, I was never really into like, let's say pop culture. For me, I'm more excited about sharing this particular piece about George the First with you guys right now than anything. But for some of my, subscribers or followers who are like, please get back to the history thing, I do think that what we're seeing now with Harry and Meghan is a very unique, like history, happening, live in front of us. And so I do think that they're boring. I feel like, but at the same time, it's like we're seeing something that's sort of unprecedented, right? We don't normally see sort of this shift in the monarchy and this change in the monarchy, which basically looks messy. Harry went above and beyond by kind of hitting below the belt with his brother and a few other people, but it is what it is. People feel so okay. Yeah. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. They feel entitled to these celebrities' lives that they lose their crap. You speak like I speak. When people just want to go about their lives and not share every little detail. I agree with you. I think, we need to be aware of how we react as the public, right? How do we react as the public? We get so invested in this stuff. And to be honest, we don't really know them. The character that they present as Meghan, the characters that they present as Harry, the characters that they present as any of the royal families or Britney Spears, like what do we really know? So I don't understand. We don't have a monarchy. And I don't see Americans curtsying to William and Kate. I do not find Harry or Meghan that interesting. We are beating the story. Yeah. I mean, honestly, from like a publicity standpoint, or let's say a PR standpoint, I mean, again, I've been in media like my whole professional life, but I haven't been a publicist. But I would say that I feel like they got some really bad advice. Obviously, they didn't edit the stuff right. They didn't do all that, but even just the pacing, I feel like the press pacing with this was just too much. So there's nothing wrong with Meghan. This is just a stunt on her part to get the attention directed back onto her. That could be a strategy as well. It really could be because look, there have been some people that have said, again, we don't know this. I'm just telling you what's out there because we don't really know these people, that Meghan herself, like, is kind of a drama queen. And so backing off is actually a tactic in and of itself. I don't know if that's true, but who knows? Okay, so listen, I hope they don't write any more, but there was a 4-book deal. Yeah, I do think one of them might have been the children's book that she released as well, which would only leave 2 more. But I did hear that Meghan was writing a book and then they were going to write something on leadership. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, so I wanted to bring something up about, the grand opinion for the prerogative concerning the royal family. Okay, Judith. Again, guys, I'm not a royal expert. I'm just an American who likes history. And this is a controversial thing. Okay, does the monarch have custody of their grandchildren? So let me give you a little bit of a background. So when Archie was about to be born, there was all this drama about, okay, does the queen have custody of, her great grandchildren? Because again, I'm going to read something to you in a second, but she wouldn't, of her great grandchildren, but she did have custody of Will and Harry and all of her grandchildren because of this rule from the 1700s. So the big question was when King Charles became the king, technically because of the rule that even Judith just brought up. Maybe I'll highlight, Judith, your thing if I can find you again. Because of this, it's called the Great Opinion of the Prerogative Concerning the Royal Family. I'm going to read this, how this kind of came about. And I know that this may seem a little academic, but for those of you who are interested in the royal family, I think it is fascinating. But so technically, the royal family has this rule that went back to George the First, and basically it's from 1717 and it was re-established in 1772 that the royal monarch does, because there's an insinuation that because there's heirs to the throne, have the custody of the royal children, which means that technically King Charles would have custody over, Archie and Lilibet, George, Charlotte, and Louis. So I'm going to read some things and then we're going to talk about it. And for those of you who know, I mean, some people say absolutely not, that's not true. And others are like, oh no, it really could, could be that case. So I'm just going to throw some things out of here. For example, there was a time when Diana, she threatened to take her sons to move to Australia, and she was quickly reminded that she would need the Queen's permission to take Prince William and Prince Harry out of the country. Now, remember, Prince William was the heir and Harry was the spare, so that would have been a big deal. When William was an infant, Charles asked the Queen if she and Diana could take him to Balmoral rather than have William travel separately with a nanny. The Queen said yes. It was only after Harry was born that William and Charles flew on different planes. After Charles and Diana separated and divorced, each parent saw their child for only like 40 days out of the year. And this had nothing to do with the Queen. The custody arrangements were made privately between the two parents. Although the two princes' primary residence was with their mother, the divorce agreement did not give Diana, and this is in quote, guys, the care and control of her two sons. Okay, so I'm going to roll into sort of the legality of this and sort of the background of it. And I bring it up because when there's these rumors of divorce and when people are saying, why doesn't Meghan go, with her kids into the UK? I'm not saying that this is an actual threat, right? I'm not saying that this is a threat or that the royal family would ever do this, because even people who don't support Meghan would be like all up in arms. Like this would be like awful. But I'm bringing it up because it is something to keep in the back of your mind. All right. So there was this article in the New York Times that did quote this guy, because I'm going to talk about the people who said, oh, this couldn't happen, and then the other ones who say it could. So there's this guy named Michael Nash, and he wrote that the Queen has the last word in the custody of bringing education and even the right of abode, meaning where they live, of the princes, even during the lifetime of their father, Prince Charles. As for their mother, the Princess of Wales, her say is a matter of discretion and negotiation. Now, the confusion is due to, and this is what Judith just brought up, the grand opinion for the prerogative concerning the royal family, which is perceived to be a law passed during the reign of George I. Guys, this is history. This is why I say that even though I don't really like doing, let's say, pop culture or current events, it does tie into sort of the times that we're living. And then it's not a law, according to the Oxford English Dictionary. A prerogative is the special right or privilege exercised by a monarch over all persons, and the royal prerogative is the prerogative of the British monarch under the common law. So then, so here's the background. In 1717, after King George I had a major disagreement, one of many disagreements with his son, the Prince of Wales, over the latter's children, the king put the question of custody of the Prince of Wales' children to its judges. And then 10 out of the 12 judges ruled that the king's right of supervision extended to his grandchildren, and this right of rights belongs to His Majesty the King of the realm, even during their father's lifetime, guys. And so then he gave birth to a second son, and basically the king ended up taking the 4 children. And this law has been in existence since then. I'm not going to read everything, but I do want to tell you then what other legal scholars say about this, and then we'll kind of get into it. The prerogative was upheld in 1772, and it's with this Royal Marriages Act, which upheld the opinion of 10 judges in 1717. It was a confirmation of legality of this prerogative, which admitted the king's right to the care of the marriage and education of the children of the royal family, and that the late opinion acknowledges that the king had the care of the royal children and grandchildren. Okay, so, and then this is just to finish it off. According to the London law firm O2S, which specializes in family law, okay, even though the other guy said it's only a prerogative, it's not necessarily a law, they say it is possible that the grand opinion for the prerogative concerning the royal family could trump the 1989 Children's Act, which provides for parental responsibility, custody, and children's law rights. The London-based OTS law firm a specialist in family law, noted several years ago that if the prerogative did apply, it would affect only the grandchildren, only the children and grandchildren of the sovereign, not the great grandchildren. So, and then they went on to say, okay, well, in reality, they probably would only use it for the heirs. But guys, I don't know about you. For me, as a mother, I don't know why she's not listed on. I'm getting slightly distracted, but I don't know why Lilibet is not on the list of heirs. But I know that a lot of materials aren't updated, so I'm sure she's considered an heir. So, all right, guys. Doesn't this freak you out a little bit? Like for me, if I was marrying a royal and I found out about this thing, whenever there's a contract that you read and then somebody's like, yeah, but we never enforce that, just sign it. That would never apply. That would never apply. It's just a formality. That always freaks me out because that's what people always go back to, right? Oh yeah, right, Donna. And I do know a lot of these rumors regarding their children. I'm not going to get into that tonight, but so I'm an Australian. These two are tormenting King Charles. That's it. Her opinion means nothing. Don't care because I don't believe she was able to have children. Now, okay, let's get into it a little bit. I've heard that too. I know a lot of people in Hollywood are using surrogates. I know that there's those rumors out there, but they are rumors. They're alleged. We do have some pictures of her looking pregnant. Some do look like the belly's a little, but I don't know. I'm trying not to chase down those theories. And I do think that, the kids look like their kids, at least from what we can see, even though we don't have, hardly any pictures, which is confusing to me. But I don't know. I think that they're the kids, but I always entertain all of those things too, guys, just like you do. Okay, so do we have anything else we want to say about that? I'm not going to get into it at length. Yes, because he knows as a dad he would have to. Okay, so Princess Eugenie is pregnant with her second child. And this is really exciting because at the beginning of the year, everybody is predicting royal children. She is not a working royal. And so, by the way, she was considered to be under the custody of the queen until she was 18 as well, because all of the cousins would have been under her custody. Again, the custody was, okay, the king now can choose where the person lives, the marriage situations, who educates them, how they're brought up, what religion they follow, yada, yada, yada. So she has one child who is adorable, August. I love this couple. And then they're having another baby in the summer, apparently. And which is very interesting. Now let me see if there's anything else you guys are saying right now. I totally agree with, okay, wait. Yes, because he knows as a daddy would have to. Okay, I'm going to move on. We'll invite. Yeah, okay, so you guys are following will they come to the coronation? I think I agree with you guys. I think that they will be invited, and I think they should come, and they should just endure all the boos and hisses that they get, but they should take, they should honor their father and do that. I don't know if they will, because Harry made a statement saying the ball's in their court. We have a lot of talking to do. Meghan did say something about wanting to go. They do have, a home there. Still, technically, they lease these homes, but it was given to them. So I don't know. I think it'd be good if they just, ended up trying to smooth all of this out. And I do think that King Charles does feel a sense of, I'm getting older. I'm getting into this position really late. I've waited all my life. Why can't my son be here? I don't want my sons to be fighting. I'd like them to get back together, irregardless of the fact that Harry is doing all this stuff. I would like it to happen. So that's what I think. So I think that they'll probably be invited. Whether or not they will come, I don't know. I think they should come. You guys can tell me what you think. Okay, so now this is I'm always amazed with Eugenie and her sister Beatrice, who I really have always liked. In the meantime, their parents are different. Like, and so we're gonna talk a little bit. Okay, wait, do a little bit. Sorry. Okay, so we're gonna go on to talk about this. I'm not getting too deep into this, guys. I can't because of the way we have to optimize our videos and stuff. So I can't go on a deep dive with this. So I'm just going to say to the second headline underneath about him wanting to overturn something, that's most likely not going to happen. But right now, Andrew has to leave his bachelor pad. And I'm going to read this Vanity Fair article because I thought it was interesting. So they're redoing Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace is being done over. And even through all that time, you know, little brother here has been staying at Buckingham Palace. And it says now the king is like, yo, get the heck out. The king has made it clear that Buckingham Palace is no place for Prince Andrew. First, his office closed last year, and now his sleeping quarters. So he got rid of his office, but he's had his sleeping quarters. He won't be out in the cold entirely. Do you know that he's been living with Sarah Ferguson like for years at the Royal Lodge and the whole on Windsor Great Park? And by the way, the Queen loved to go on walks with Sarah Ferguson and their dogs. She just loved that, and they ended up with the dogs. So he doesn't have an option now of moving into a suite at St. James Palace where his daughter, he does have the option to move in with Princess Beatrice, and because they have a 4-room apartment, or going back to the Royal Lodge with Sarah, which is probably what's going to happen. He moved into a suite in Buckingham Palace in 1980. And now follow me here because I might have to speak in code a little bit. And it's also the place where the palace maids were reportedly asked, there's something about this family that loves teddy bears, to rearrange his collections of teddy bears daily. Andrew loved having a suite at Buckingham Palace where he was not only set up for marital life with Sarah, but used it as a bachelor pad after the divorce. He brought back a string of new girlfriends to his home in the palace, even model Caprice. A bachelor's flat in St. James Palace doesn't have the same allure for a single man. In 2020, and this is Vanity Fair, by the way, that I am reading, The Sun reported that Andrew's dates with Caprice, who might be best known in America for her appearance on VH1's The Surreal Life in 2005, happened less than a year before his alleged accusation. So anyhow, that is what happened. So then this woman Caprice says that she went into Buckingham Palace. This is so tacky to me, twice. And on one occasion, she sat on the Queen's throne. No. She spotted a bowl she liked and asked Andrew if she could steal it and post it to her mom. She claims that he let her, and her mom loved it. No. What do you guys think of that? So anyhow, he's going to have another grandchild, and yeah, I don't think she goes. I hope Harry goes, but okay, she'll go. Okay, you guys are still on that. Okay, all right. So this is Andrew's deal. All right. So now I just did a short on this. I had so much fun. What people don't tell you about the book, because there's so much about the book where there's like all the scathing stuff, but I'm just going to say, probably as an American, I probably don't read it the same way. But guys, this was so funny. I almost spit out my coffee into the book when I was reading Harry. Well, I was listening to Audible, and I also have the book, and he's quoted the Spice Girls. It's something like, if you want my future, forget my past. If you want to get with me, better make it fast. And which is just so funny. But he was telling the story of how when in 1997, like 3 months after his mom died, he was invited with his dad to go to South Africa to meet the Spice Girls and to hang out with them. And the Spice Girls took him by the hand, and he was on the red carpet. It was the first time he was there, and he ignored all the questions about his mom. But then his dad was there. And when I pulled up these pictures, Sorry guys, when I pulled up these pictures, it just cracked me up because the king, the now king, his eyes, look at where he is with Posh Spice. Can you see? Like, look at him looking at, and also with Ginger. Maybe you guys can see better here. I mean, seriously, I mean, anyhow, it was really funny and sort of superficial, but I did get a kick out of it. So in the book, I will say there's some of it that's so interesting. Like, we get kind of the picture of the palace, Harry's early life. I'm not done with it yet, guys. I've been kind of rolling a little slow with the book. But there are parts of it that are so fun. And this one with the Spice Girls was pretty fun. And then he just quoted them. I mean, of all the things to quote, that's what he quoted. So here's the big question. So Andrew had a suite for when he was in London and the Royal Lodge for long weekends at Windsor. He has lived with Sarah since their divorce. Yeah, they're like, so, all right, Judith, this is my question because I don't go too far into the weeds with Andrew and Sarah. But are they like together? Like, are they like basically a couple still? Because I see that she's like being invited still to certain things now. She seems to have a great relationship with her daughters. So I'm just, yeah, I know, Deborah. I was thinking the same thing because I don't know. It's just like when I heard that, I've known that for like a year or so, but like, I was like, what the heck? I had no idea that they were still ending up, together like that. So what is next? What is next for Harry and Meghan? What do we have next? Hopefully we can all relax and kind of just chill out and see what happens, because the coronation, as all of you guys are so interested, is next. But he did, there's still sort of the things that he said. I would be nervous about my security. There was an article in Vanity Fair today that I didn't bring up where apparently Harry was shocked that just because Andrew lost his security, he said he shouldn't have lost any of his security. But if he's going to move to the United States and, the American tax dollars are basically paying for that kind of stuff, it's a little crazy. And then he makes those comments. And he's got children now, and it is sort of hypocritical, even though they said they didn't leave for privacy. They left just for a different life. It is hypocritical, in my opinion, to say that the press is awful, which in many ways we can see that in so many ways it is, but it's also, you're using the press for your financial advantage. And maybe there's some kind of, I don't know, maybe you feel a little bit redeemed with that. Like, okay, fine, you're going to ruin my life, take my mother, then I'm going to leverage my, my influence and make some money. But at the same time, you're putting yourselves in danger. And so what's next? Are you going to continue to play this card? When do you get off? When do you chill out? Are you able to, this is a really great question for people, and even like child actors, for people who've been like in the limelight their entire life. As much as they hate it, there is a weird type of kind of rush to it that they're used to. And we all know psychologically that some people still chase after even the negative attention because it's familiar. Can Harry chill out and be outside of that and just be, low key and not have all the drama around him? Because, he'll blame the drama on other people, but clearly even in his book, he's stirring up the drama like crazy. So, okay, so let me get into this now. So what they think is going to happen to them next is, first, they say that he's going to have to deal with his fallout with his brother, Willie. And he collected, his 20 million payday for the book, but they say it's for a 3-book deal, as well as yet more millions from Netflix for the Harry and Meghan docuseries. Where does that leave his prince and his wife? Okay, so holed up in their, $14 million home in Montecito, the Duke and Duchess are as isolated as ever from the royal family and with little path forward for reconciliation. And now even America is not sure what to make of them. Their likability ratings, I don't know what they're called, the regular polls, have plummeted. And they've plummeted since the docuseries. People really like them during the docuseries. Not everybody. it was still, mixed as far as like, in the UK versus here. But I think after, the fact that they don't really know how to pace their press and what we've seen with the book, they're like, well, they're crashing. So even the liberal New York Times published a piece asking, has Prince Harry's spare changed public opinion of him? And Ronald Reagan's daughter, Patty Davis, wrote a Times piece admitting that she regretted her own tell-all. So NBC's Hoda and Jenna, this was a good comment that Jenna Bush said. She says, I cannot imagine, ever saying anything about my twin, Barbara. She says, it's sad. I can't even imagine a world without her, admitting that she has considered writing a memoir. Sometimes you're telling your story, and your story is also a stories of others. I've actually asked people, is this fair? Everybody has their own truth, or there's the truth. And then it says, when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex moved into the California home in March 2020, they were all about their truth, and financial independence. So obviously he's selling what he can. And then they talk about the Oprah interview, but they're really saying what's ahead for them. What's ahead is that they're going to probably do more things, but I don't know if everybody's going to be all about them in the future. I think he has exposed so much. It's been almost like watching, and y'all know this, it's like watching, those, I mean, I hate to say it, it's sort of like those car accidents, like when you don't really want to be, what they call rubbernecking, but you can't help it. So some people believe that there's been a lot of sort of pity watching, and you may agree. So let's just take some questions and then we will head out. Please, by the way, do subscribe, like my videos, share with people. Most of the stuff is history. What I have coming up, I'm going to produce a longer form, just history piece, starting with some Hollywood content. And one of the ones, I have a really great short that had millions of views about Fatty Arbuckle and his experience with Virginia Rapé. And I'm going to discuss that. So that's one of the ones that I'm releasing. And then I have other ones. I'm going to start heading into that. Plenty of tea to spill. Yeah, they'll have a lot more material, I'm sure. Thanks. Yeah. And Carolyn, he said, I'm going to post your little thing right here. So regarding the Spice Girls, Harry said he liked Ginger Spice the most because Ginger was ginger and he's ginger. And that's why he liked her. I always liked Ginger Spice too. I don't know what Spice Girls you guys liked. I always liked her. And then she left. Spice Girls left. The Ginger Spice left. I'm so sick of Harry and Meghan. They should both, oh my gosh. Inviting the Harkles is inviting trouble. They would be such a distraction from the coronation. I agree with you. But I think that honestly, if Charles, like, he has to invite them because they kind of want material. Like Harry and Meghan are the type that want material. Like they may not say it, but any bit of like, I mean, if they're going to complain about Kate not lending her or not wanting to lend her lip gloss or, just some of the nonsense, that they will make a big deal out of not being invited to the coronation. And then he will take the mic. Imagine watching the coronation and having Harry take the mic and start talking about his family in a negative way. Like, how can he even do that? But people are saying that he's being offered all of this stuff. So it will be a distraction, but in some ways it may not be. It may be less of a distraction if the royal families can sort of control things and say, okay, this is where we're going now. Sit in the fourth row, whatever. So, that's so funny. He was adolescent boy and he liked the spicy girls. Yeah, they don't have the power to distract at the coronation. I think it'll be fine. They'll put them in whatever row. I mean, they're going to have to try to reconcile. And I do think at the end of the day, I think the king wants his sons. Like, I think he wants his sons. So would you agree? I think he wants his sons together, and he's 74 years old. and there's going to be enough drama, enough stuff. I mean, I can imagine that he wants his kids close and his grandkids close. They say that when he did have this meeting with, I think, Lilibet and Archie, that he was very emotional. Like, he was very emotional about it. So I can see that. So I think he's going to want them there, but Harry's like, well, there's a lot that has to happen beforehand. So, and I think we all need to be the type of people that are, that are trying to just, let's all move on. Like, even the fact that there is an article and I'm doing something that's, where's Meghan, just goes to show how easy a person can get addicted or get too entrenched in other people, OPS, you know what I'm saying? Other people's stuff. So, and if I was Arlene, if I was William, I would feel the same way. Like, I wouldn't want, like, I would be so ticked off. Like, I have 3 sisters. There's just this code. You don't have to say it. You don't have to, like, please, like my sisters will say, hey, I don't like that picture of me. Please don't post it. But there's a code. Like, nobody would have to tell me not to tell the public about certain private conversations. And I'm in social media. So I don't understand. They must not ever have had a code. And yeah, so that's that. Okay. So one more comment. Here we go. The whole thing is so upsetting. They expected her, a divorced woman, of millions of dollars on a wedding. She's biracial, and for them to do what they have done is shameful. The whole thing is so upsetting, and I expected her to, I mean, there's a lot that could be said about both sides, a lot that could be said about both sides. Because we know, I mean, historically, things in this family is not perfect. There's been a lot of drama. And at the end of the day, as upsetting as their book is, let's be honest. Harry didn't do what Prince Andrew did. Harry did, like, even Prince Charles, like, he's been caught, or King Charles, sorry, I still have a problem with that. He, he was taking money recently. Like, there are things that they're making this couple be out to be like the worst thing ever. And yeah, I mean, it kind of, can suck, but it's not, there's been worse things in the royal family, a lot. So if you really break it down, like, what have they done? They've just tried to sort of make their own, and Harry has bigger ambitions than maybe, just living the royal lifestyle. So, but they could have left. I always say this, they could have left and still have done, like, imagine a book, and this is how I'm going to end our call today. Imagine a book that he could have written that would have said some really awesome things about his, like, addressed his childhood and the awful things, but also what about talking about the really amazing things, and talk about what, because I was interested when he was talking about even what the, Balmoral looked like the description, like, this is what it's like to be a prince. It's painful at times. It's this and it's that. But I have the perspective that it's, that I get to do this and I get to do that. And I understand that there are other people that are struggling, and all I want to do is try to help. But I am a prince, and I was born a prince, and these are my duties, and this is my calling. And this is, like, there are things he could have said, ways they could have framed the book, ways they could have framed an interview, and still probably had the money and probably had all of the opportunities, but also then had the opportunities of still connecting with the British public, people in the Commonwealth who were so into the royal family and their family. They could have had their cake and eaten it too. I believe that. I believe they still could have had all of this stuff. It didn't have to be one of those agreements or contracts where they had to sell everything and actually tell everything. They could have told some juicy things, but there were ways to be creative about it while still protecting the people they love and having a certain amount of respect that, in my opinion, would have elevated them even more. That's what I think. Okay. So, yeah, exactly. That he could have made a living without totally destructing the firm. And he could have made great money without totally doing this. So I don't know. Maybe in their back end meetings, they're like, okay, we'll give you 100 million, but you have to tell the story of this and you have to tell the story of that. I still would have been no. Listen, even at my level, you can negotiate with people that want to give you brand deals. Like if you're at that level, I'm sorry. A lot of people will come to you and you're the boss. You get to tell them what you're willing to say and what you're not willing to say. So the fact that they chose to say this, it's on them because they could have picked a different deal then. I don't know. Anyhow, it all started with Meghan's hurt feelings. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so but then they would have been accused of being arrogant. I know there's always something. So guys, have a great night. Please do subscribe, follow my videos, keep an eye out for some of my Hollywood content. I'm going to be releasing something on Elizabeth Taylor. I'm releasing something coming up soon on Fatty Arbuckle. I'm working on that. And just be blessed. I really appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate the support. And let's keep our eyes out and see if there's any new news on this amazing and interesting royal family. Good night.